Most people think the scariest part of a movie is on the screen. The jump scares, the eerie music, the shadows creeping, just out of sight. But they're wrong. The real horror isn't in the movie, it's in the theater itself. Some customers never leave. They sit in the darkness, whispering in the empty seats, moving in the shadows, when no one's looking. You don't see them, but they see you. And if you listen closely, late at night, you might just hear them. Still watching, still waiting, right behind you. For 5 years, I've worked as an usher in this theater, watching the same movies on repeat, cleaning up spilled popcorn and scanning endless tickets. But I've learned something most people don't know. This place has regulars. Not the kind that buy tickets, not the kind that leave when the credits roll. 3 ghosts haunt this theater: Morris, Oscar, and George. They don't just appear now and then. They live here, and whether we like it or not, they make sure we know it. Maurice is the quiet one, the least intrusive but the most unsettling. He's known as Grandpa Maurice, and his story is tragic. Years ago, an old man came here to watch a horror movie and never left. He died during the film, and when the lights came on, the cleaning crew found him, sitting motionless in his seat. But here's the strange part. No one remembers exactly which seat. No one remembers exactly which theater. And that's why, even now, Morris can be anywhere. You don't see him directly, not at first. He lingers in the corner of your eye, a figure sitting quietly as if enjoying the show, until you look directly at him. And then, he's gone. But you still feel it, that weight in the air, the prickling sensation of being watched. Oscar is different. He's not just a ghost, he's a nuisance. He's named after Oscar the Grouch because he lurks in the trash haul, where we keep the bins before taking them out. But unlike Morris, Oscar doesn't just sit still, he moves things. He makes sure we know he's there. And sometimes, he lets us hear him too. One night, I was taking out the trash when a can rolled a few feet behind me. No wind, no incline, just movement. I turned, expecting to see a rat or something, but there was nothing. Just a long, empty hallway, and the distant sound of footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, coming from the service elevator. The service elevator has a mind of its own. It moves by itself, doors opening, with no one inside. But the worst part? The footsteps. The sound of someone stepping out. Always 2 steps, always heavy. But no one ever arrives. The noise just stops. Right before they should come around the corner. Right before they should be seen. I've waited there before, just listening. The doors ding open, and then step, step, silence. And every time, without fail, the second I build up the courage to look, the lights flicker. And I know I'm not alone. And then there's George. George is an ass. He doesn't just haunt, he sabotages. Lights flicker, pipes burst, supplies disappear. But the worst moment? Christmas 2022. I was training a new girl at the podium when she scoffed at the ghost stories. Ghosts? Yeah, I don't believe in those, she said. And then, the massive cardboard standee behind her, one that weighed over 50 pounds, tipped over and crashed. No wind, no one near it, just George. People come and go, but Morris, Oscar, and George, they remain. If you ever visit this theater and hear whispers in an empty seat, or a trash can moving on its own, don't ask if someone's there, because the answer is always yes. A movie theater should be a place of escape. But what if someone is watching you? Not the screen, you, staring, waiting, following, and when you run, that's when the real horror begins. Emma and Mads, 2 teenage best friends, were out for a fun day at the mall, shopping, laughing, and, as always, watching a horror movie. But today, the real horror wasn't on the screen. As they walked toward the theater, Emma noticed a man in a massage chair, phone pressed to his ear. Mid-40s, Hispanic. He wasn't blinking, his stare was locked onto Mads. She had strikingly blonde hair, the kind that caught attention, but this felt different. As they passed, Emma caught it. His gaze had dropped lower. His eyes raked over Mads. Disgusted, Emma snapped, "Stop looking." He just smiled, slow, unsettling. They hurried inside, joining the ticket line, losing themselves in chatter about BTS. Then Emma glanced back. Her stomach dropped. He was right behind them. They grabbed their popcorn and sat at a table. Then Emma spotted him again, sitting in the corner, eating popcorn he hadn't had before. Inside the theater, they sat near the top. A moment later, Emma's heart clenched. He was behind them, again. Mads panicked. They moved down a few seats, so did he. No hesitation, no confusion. He simply followed. "Let's go to the bathroom," Mads whispered. They grabbed their things and left. The moment the door shut, they exhaled. "I don't want to go back," Mads admitted. Then, footsteps. A voice, low, muttering in Spanish. I don't know where they went. Emma's breath hitched. She understood. He was looking for them. They had to get out. They ducked into a kids' movie, hoping to disappear. But later, as they shopped, Emma's stomach twisted. The air felt wrong. Then she saw him. Standing at the exit, phone to his ear, scanning. Emma's phone buzzed. Her mom was waiting outside, but the only way out was past him. They moved fast. Halfway there, Emma looked back. Her breath caught. He wasn't just standing anymore. He was walking, fast. Their legs burned. The exit was so close. Emma's mom's car was in sight. They tore through the doors, diving into the back seat. As they slammed the doors shut, Emma looked out the window and saw him, standing just outside, searching. But this time, he'd lost. Some houses hold secrets, some walls whisper in the dead of night. But what if the sounds you hear aren't just creaks and groans of an old house? What if something is living there with you? This is the true story of Mary and Kelly, two housekeepers who walked into a job and barely made it out alive. Mary and Kelly were just two college students looking for an easy summer job. Their task seemed simple: house-sitting for a psychiatrist while she traveled through Europe. A big house, an easy paycheck. What could go wrong? But before they even set foot inside, an eerie feeling settled over them. Something was off. The house was too quiet, as if it was waiting for them. That night, Kelly was alone in the house. As she settled into the guest bedroom, an unsettling sound came from above, the attic. Scratching. Slow, deliberate, like nails raking across old wood. Then, a thud. Something had moved. The attic stairs were right outside her door, and whatever was up there would have to walk right past her room to get downstairs. She clutched the blankets tight and forced herself to sleep. But sleep didn't come easy. The next night, it was Mary's turn to stay. She told herself Kelly had just imagined things. But as the hours passed, the scratching returned. Then, the sound of slow, heavy footsteps moving closer. Mary froze. The attic door creaked open. The stairwell groaned under unseen weight. Then, thud, thud, thud. Something was running down the attic stairs. She slammed her bedroom door shut, heart pounding, breath ragged. Whatever was in this house It wasn't just a rat in the attic. The next morning, shaken but determined to push it aside, Mary tried to rationalize everything. Maybe it was just an old house playing tricks. But then Kelly returned. "Hey, what's up with the scratches on your car?" she asked. Mary's stomach twisted. Deep, jagged marks ran along the car door. Long, deliberate scratches. Too long for any animal. Too precise to be random. Someone, or something, had been outside last night, watching, waiting. That night, both Mary and Kelly stayed in the house together. As darkness fell, the noises returned. The attic door creaked open, but this time, something stepped out. The floorboards groaned under heavy, deliberate steps. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The footsteps stopped outside their door. Silence. Then, bang. The door handle rattled violently, followed by deep, guttural scratching on the wood. Something was trying to get in, something desperate, something inhuman. Morning came, and with it, their escape. They called the house owner, desperate for answers. But when she answered, her voice was urgent, panicked. Get out now!" The scratches on the car weren't random. They spelled two chilling words: get out. Police searched the attic and found something worse than a ghost. A woman. A patient. A disturbed, dangerous intruder who had been. Living in the attic, watching them sleep and waiting, with a 6-inch knife under her pillow. Mary and Kelly never went back. And now they always check the attic before they sleep. Some horrors lurk in the dark, waiting for their moment. Some stare from the shadows, unseen but watching. And sometimes they remember you. What I saw wasn't just a ghost, it was something ancient, something that knew me. And it wanted me to remember too. It started in the small apartment above an animal hospital. The attic was mostly storage, just a bridge away from our place. But that night, something was waiting for me. Something that should not have been there. I was moving a stationary bike back when I noticed. The attic door was open. A figure stood in the shadows beyond it. Not human, but something trying to be. It raised a long, clawed hand and pulled. The door opened wider. Pale, emaciated, draped in a tattered gray gown. Its face was hidden behind a saber-toothed cat's skull, except for the chin, barely visible beneath sharp fangs. It pressed a single claw to the mask in a shushing gesture, and that's when I ran. I felt her presence long after that night. Shadows moving in my peripheral vision, a sense of being watched. Then, a week later, while I was away, the missionaries still at the apartment woke up to something worse. A thick, oppressive air, a suffocating darkness. They prayed together, desperate to drive it away. The next morning, we found the metal door leading out of the attic, deadbolted the night before, had been wrenched open, its hinges nearly torn off. She wasn't just a spirit, she was looking for me. Not all darkness hides in the shadows. Some infest the very walls we stand in. We were pulled into a man's home, desperate for help. The moment we stepped inside, we knew this house was wrong. My companion turned pale. I felt sick. A hallway should have been visible past the open blinds, but all we saw was a void, an impossible, consuming darkness. We knelt and prayed, forcing whatever lived there out. The weight lifted, the house brightened, but the next morning it was worse. I stepped inside and something struck me, hard, right in the chest, like a force trying to throw me out. We fought it again, but learned the truth. The son had been watching exorcism movies, calling out to demons with a Ouija board, and he let them in. Not all hauntings are terrifying. Some are just there. The bakery I worked at was full of ghosts. Mischievous ones, noisy ones that just wanted to remind us they were around. But then, October came. The activity spiked, lights flickering, objects moving on their own. Then, one night, the radio shut off. The doorbell chimed over and over, faster than it should. And then, I saw them outside. The street was filled with them, moving slowly, aimlessly, like they were searching. The world outside the glass didn't feel real anymore. It felt wrong, like I was looking into a different place entirely. One of them came closer. Thin, bony fingers pressed against the glass, smearing the surface. The door handle rattled. I stayed back. I didn't make a sound. Morning came, and the skeletons were gone. But when we checked the windows, hundreds of handprints covered the glass, thin, bony, too many to count. The ghosts that haunted the bakery had always been mischievous. But that night, they had vanished. Whatever those things were, even the dead were afraid of them. Some places hold echoes of the past, but what if something still listens? What if something still watches and waits? The first time it happened, it was just a whisper. A faint, almost imperceptible voice that drifted through the darkened room like a dying breath. He had dismissed it as a trick of the mind, a product of exhaustion. But as the nights passed, the whispers grew louder. One night, as he lay staring at the ceiling, he felt it. A presence. A weight pressing down on the air, thick and suffocating. Slowly, he turned his gaze toward the doorway. The door, which he was sure he had shut before bed, now stood slightly open. And beyond it, something waited. It watched him. Always watching. He would wake to find the door ajar, the whispers now right beside his bed. His mirror, once a simple object of reflection, now became a window to something far more sinister. One night, he caught a glimpse of them. Two hollow, glowing eyes in the corner of his room, staring at him through the mirror's warped glass. Sleep became a luxury he could no longer afford. Every night the whispers grew louder, more insistent. His own name was spoken in tones that slid beneath his skin like ice. The thing in the mirror, it was waiting for him to break. The last message sent from his phone was chillingly simple. "It's in the room with me. Please help me." They found his room in shambles. The bed was empty. The closet door stood open, revealing only darkness. No footprints, no signs of struggle, just the lingering echoes of whispers that never truly faded. And the mirror. The mirror reflected something that was no longer there. Some say he never left. That if you listen closely on a quiet night, you might still hear him whispering, waiting for someone to take his place. The room was still, too still. The only sound was the faint hum of the bedside lamp, its weak glow casting frail light against peeling vintage wallpaper. In the corner, an old wardrobe stood silently, its warped wooden frame carrying the weight of years long past. But something about it felt wrong. The air around it was heavier, charged with an unspoken presence. And then, the door, just barely ajar, revealing a sliver of impenetrable blackness beyond, the kind of darkness that seemed to swallow the world whole. A slow, agonizing creak echoed from within, like the weary sigh of something ancient, something waking. The girl stood motionless, her breath caught in her throat. A cold dread coiled around her spine, urging her to turn away, to leave. but something pulled her forward. Curiosity? Fear? Or was it something else entirely? With a shaky breath, she raised a trembling hand, her fingertips hovering just above the edge of the door. The wood was ice cold, sending a sharp chill up her arm, and then, without warning, the door shifted. Not from her touch. It moved on its own. A deep groan of wood against wood reverberated through the room. The gap widened. And then, the whispers began. Soft at first, like wind slipping through cracks, but layered. Multiple voices speaking in a chorus, an ancient tongue that sent a sickening pulse through the air. Her heart pounded violently against her ribs, her breath now shallow, uneven. She took an involuntary step back, her pulse hammering. But something moved inside. The darkness within stirred, shifting like a living thing, and then something reached out. A hand, long, thin, unnatural. The skin, impossibly pale, stretched tight over protruding bones. The fingers twitched, then curled as if testing the air. It moved with deliberate slowness, emerging inch by inch from the void. Her lungs clenched. Was she even breathing anymore? Panic clawed at her chest, but her body refused to move. The whispers grew louder, frenzied, as if whatever lay within was speaking directly to her. Then, the hand jerked forward, swift, predatory. She stumbled backward with a strangled gasp, her legs barely holding her upright. The wardrobe groaned again, but this time the door didn't just shift. It opened wider, revealing something deeper, something waiting. The darkness within the wardrobe was no longer just an absence of light. It was something more, something alive. And it wanted her.